Hey YouTubers, it's Platt here, and we're continuing on our beer style series, and we're continuing in the country of Belgium with the Belgian Dubbel. Let's run over the numbers real quick. The SRM is 16 to 36, the IBUs are 20 to 35, the ABV is 6.3 to 7.6. As I probably told you last time, the Belgians aren't afraid of a little alcohol in their beer. And we're going to serve this beer at around 50 to 55 degrees. If you saw the video on the Belgian Blonde Ale, you can see the numbers are fairly similar except for the SRM. This is a darker beer than what we had last week. The term Dubbel just translates into double. The best way, or the easiest way I think to equate it, is compared to the light lagers we drink here in the U.S., this is the next step up, or not quite a double, but we bumped up the alcohol, we're bumping up the malt in this beer. This is a bigger beer than what we traditionally will drink here in the U.S. In the future, we'll go over Belgian triples and quadruples, so you'll see a pattern here in a few weeks when we cover those beers. But this is kind of the first step up. These beers are brown to very dark in color, as you probably might call it with the SRM. One of the things you're going to catch first is there's plenty of malt sweetness. It's going to punch in the front of the tongue. The Belgians like plenty of malt in their mash tun. And because of this, it's going to cover up, even though the IBUs are in the 20s to 30s, it's going to cover up a lot of that a lot of the hops. Bitterness and flavor and aroma are not going to come through in this beer because there's plenty of malt in it. That malt is going to produce a cocoa, caramelish nose and taste on this beer. Typical of other Belgian beers, because of that unique Belgian ale yeast, there's going to be funkiness, fruitiness, a little perfuminess on this beer, and also on the, translate a little bit on the nose, but you'll get, yeast is a big player in Belgian beers, and you get that on this beer too. This beer is a little different. I don't think we've covered or had a beer like this in the other part of the series. This is a bottle conditioned beer. If you never had one of these or never heard the term before, basically big beers, your big mass-produced lagers or whatever, generally have CO2 pumped into the beer. That gives it its carbonation. This is done more like how we do at home brewing. They throw a little bit of yeast in the bottle, and whatever unfermented sugars are left in there, that yeast will attack and then create the CO2 into this beer. Now what this does is a couple things. First off, we'll have active or dead yeast cells in the bottom of this beer. When you pour it out, it will create a slight yeast haze in the beer. And you want to be careful anytime you pour one of these bottle conditioned beers to not upset that yeast. You don't want to dump all that yeast in there. You want to leave as much in the bottom of the bottle as you can. So you want to be cognizant of that. And also, in this particular bottle conditioned beer, because of that yeast, we have a medium to medium high carbonation. A lot of fast rising bubbles in this beer. With the additional malt or extra malt that's in this style of beer, it's going to be a mouth coating body to it, a little more viscosity, and that will produce a medium to medium plus finish. This is not a huge beer, but again, we're taking a step up. There's more body to it. This particular beer goes great with cooked sausages and milk chocolates. The beer we're going to try today is the Dubbel from Chimay. Probably one of the first Belgian breweries that I tried here in the U.S. and that kind of penetrated this market. Probably this is the first Dubbel I ever had was Chimay, and the Chimay Red is their most popular line, but they also do a triple to another classic beers. If you've never heard the term Trappist beers or Trappist ales, they're produced by the Trappist monks in Belgium. And there's only about 11 brewers in the world that can officially call themselves Trappist beers or that produce Trappist ales. You might see that term on some American-made beers, but they'll say Trappist style. They won't claim to be Trappist ales. And they do very excellent representations of those beers. But to be a true Trappist beer, they have to be made by the Trappist monks, and that's Chimay. And actually, proceeds from the sales of these beers still help run the monastery there. And a neat little fact is the monastery that produces Chimay also, from what I gather, produces some excellent cheeses. So let's give this beer a try. All right. All right, you see we got a nice, for a little half pour, we got a nice finger plus head. Very light khaki. I'll hold it up, and yeah, it is not clear, slightly opaque. You will see, you won't be able to see this on this, but when you pour this, you'll see that there's plenty of fast rising bubbles. Let's give her a smell. Oh yeah, you get a lot of the sweetness, you get a little funky, that kind of banana funkiness or whatever in the ale, but you are not going to pick up hops on this. Let's give her a try. Oh, that is nice. Very flavorful. I get the malt punch up front, but then because of the coating of the body, I pick up other aromas. I pick up the cocoa, which is not true. Cocoa is not overtly sweet. It's a more complex flavor, and you get a little bit of that. You definitely get that Belgian kind of funky flavor, and like I said, it kind of goes with those funky esters. Again, plenty of malt, plenty of that chocolatey, cocoa-y. Noticeable alcohol, but not high at all. But it's something you'll pick up on this. And again, this particular Dubbel comes at 7.0, so it's a larger beer, especially for the American palate. Yeah, this is a nice beer. It's a nice sipper. Compared to the Belgian Blonde of last week, when I said that was a nice early spring, kind of late, or spring, late summer kind of beer, something I would drink outside. This is more of a fall type beer, something I would drink in a nice dark pub on a cool fall night or whatever. Something I'd also want to eat with kind of a hearty meal. Well, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe down below. Also, feel free to leave any comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section, or you can always contact me on the Twitter page. Well, until next time, bottoms up.